Together, we are Valorant.
미안해서 어쩌나? That's my song with my lyrics on Apple Music streaming. And I did it with DistroKid. DistroKid is literally the
fall for gravity, 'cause you lift me up when I can't feel. I'm not gonna fall for gravity. Cause the world will doubt, try to bring you down, but your love is real. I can see a reason to try to fight for meaning, but you give me reason to know I still have meaning. I'm not gonna fall for gravity. Fall for gravity. Hearing all the wasted breath, struggle with every step, and I cannot get away. But you were such a paradise, standing up a mile high. Oh, you fall to give me strength.
Inside the book that I wrote are all the words that we spoke, yet only with our eyes. Now is the time to choose. Somebody wins and some lose. I can see through your disguise. Lay down, hope for something better. Looking at the clouds, the sliver in the weather. You can't keep this up. The lies are just too much. Kick back, start another fire. Looking at the clouds, making shapes that you admire. And you can't stop it now, 'cause you don't know how. And you can't stop it now. Too much love will kill you.
am left alone with trace of the night on the way back down from the sky where you left my soul. Can you help me fly? I can't resist, 'cause you have got a hold on me. And all these thoughts, when you are here, you light up the dark sides. To live in the night shine, you take my life and light every side. You fade the dark inside. The living night shines. And the feeling's gone and I am left alone with a trace of the night on the way back down from the sky where you left my soul. Can you help me fly? I can't resist, 'cause you have got a hold on me. And all these thoughts, when you are here, you light up the dark sides. To live in the night shine, you take my life and light every side. You fade the dark inside. The living night shines.
All right, bet. If y'all can hear me, let me get y'all to drop some ones in the chat for me, please. Y'all can hear me loud and clear. Let me get y'all to drop some ones in the chat so I know that y'all can hear your boy. We're about to go ahead and get started. Appreciate everybody for tapping in tonight. So let me know if y'all can see me, hear me, all of the above. Let me get y'all to drop some ones in the chat if y'all can hear me, y'all can see me. All of the above. So anybody on the call, let me know if y'all can hear me. Drop some ones in the chat for me, please. Would be really helpful, and then we can go ahead and get started. I bet. Give me a second. I like to be able to get on the stream myself so I can make sure everything sounds cool. But y'all already saying we good, so shit, I'm assuming that we good. So the people that's on the call, let me know where y'all tuning in from. We're going to go ahead and get it started the right way. Where are y'all tuning in from? City, state, country? Don't really matter. Appreciate you, Dev. Right? Oh, Kyle's brother? Okay, bet. So Kyle's my brother too, so I'm going to make sure that you're in good hands, my brother. Don't even worry about that. Oh, you was the one that was like, who hosting the call? I got you. I'm hosting the call, my brother, so I got you. Feel me? I've been out the loop a little bit. I used to do these calls consistently, so it's understandable if y'all are a little bit confused on, the call being dropped. But I'm going to make sure y'all become extremely familiar, right? So my boy Dev said it from Jackson, Mississippi. I already know my boy Angel. Shout out to my boy Angel, Houston, Texas. Cassandra, Tampa Bay, Florida. One of my older brothers stays in Tampa Bay, Florida. So I appreciate all y'all for tapping in. For any of y'all that don't know, my name is Tyree Samuels. I've been trading almost 3 years. If any of y'all know Kyle Prasad, which Dev already mentioned, Kyle is actually the person that got me started in trading 2019. Would never forget it. Always appreciate him. And so I definitely got to make sure that I give my boy a big what's the word? I big him up so that you guys already know who is the person that put me in position. Now, one thing I'm going to let y'all know, I'm new to streaming on YouTube, and I don't necessarily have the newest, strongest computer. So what I've been seeing is I'm looking at my stream over here. I got multiple monitors, and it might freeze possibly a little bit. It may be a little glitchy. I just want y'all to work with me. All right. Obviously, eventually, I need to actually update and get a new laptop, but I don't necessarily need a new laptop. It's just that I think my laptop might not be as strong as I need it to be to stream. So let me get consistent. Let me do a few weeks, maybe a couple months of streaming before I just go get a new laptop that I don't make sure I give y'all the best experience. And I want to be able to build up an audience so we can all graduate together. So let's go ahead and get it started. Feel free to send out the link to anybody that you guys feel like want to be able to get some information, any type of trading value. These calls are going to be live London session. These calls are going to be 100% live trading. I do my trading as far as like pending orders, which is like buy limit, sell limit. So you're probably not necessarily going to get a trade on the actual call, but you will get a trade idea, right? Buy limit, sell limit is usually how I rock out. I don't do a lot of market execution. So I do call out trades. It's just you're probably not going to enter the trade on the call. It'll be something that you get, you put in, it'll activate. Hopefully it hits take profit. You guys already understand the concept of that. So the other thing I want you guys to be able to do is if you guys are not currently in my Telegram is going to be something I'm going to go ahead and drop in the chat. So if you guys are paying attention to the YouTube chat, let me go ahead and drop my Telegram link. Telegram is obviously going to be where I send my personal trade ideas as well as, dropping these links and new YouTube videos. So definitely make sure y'all hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. I have not posted before Friday of last week. I haven't posted for like 3 months. If you guys go look at my channel, I was extremely consistent. And, I had some personal things going on, but I'm going to make sure I get back to where it needs to be because my goal is to be able to be at the top of YouTube for trading. And I need you guys' help to get there. What days do I get on live? Great question, Dev. So if you guys want to know my schedule, this is going to be my schedule, right? As of right now, I'm going to be doing 3 days. In the future, I'm going to be doing a total of 5 days. But like I said, I don't want to overextend myself. The issue that I used to have is I used to promise too much and under-deliver. So I want to under-promise and over-deliver. So we're going to start off with 3 days, all right? So y'all can write this down. I was supposed to go live yesterday, but if you guys were in my Telegram chat or the people that join it now, you'll see I had some computer issues. Like I said, my computer's only maybe 3 years old, but it's not like, it was a fairly cheap laptop. I don't need a MacBook or nothing like that. I just needed something that worked. And since I'm streaming now, I kind of see I might need something a little bit stronger. So I had to get GeekSquad to clean up my joint. It was a little slow. And this is why we're here today. And yesterday I wasn't able to go live. But normally the days I'm able to go live is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Right? Now be aware when I say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I go live at 1 a.m. Central, 2 a.m. Eastern. So Tuesday is like technically Monday night. Wednesday is Tuesday night, Thursday, so on. So just so y'all understand, right? So you're not confused on when to show up. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1 a.m. Central, 2 a.m. Eastern. All right. So hopefully you guys got that. And we're about to go ahead and get started. We usually do these calls for the most part, 30 minutes to an hour. It's probably going to be more so to the hour than the 30 minutes. Maybe it goes over a little. Maybe it's cut a little short. It just depends on what the market presents us with and what opportunities that we have. So if you guys are ready to go ahead and get started, let me get y'all to drop a 2 in the chat. I'm a guy that likes participation. I definitely like people to be able to communicate in the chat. So if you guys have any questions, drop it in the chat. If you guys have a chart that you might possibly want me to look at, drop it in the chat. And yeah, we'll kind of go from there. If you guys have I ain't gonna say chart. If you guys have a currency pair, not the chart. If you guys have a currency pair you want me to look at, drop it in the chat. All right, so let me get you guys to drop a 2 in the chat. We'll go ahead and get started. I see Cassandra dropped a 2. Let me see if anybody else dropped a 2. All right, cool. We got the participation. Let's go ahead and get started. So the way that I trade is going to be smart money or institutional trading. So unfortunately, for anybody that has no idea what smart money is, for anybody that's 100% brand new to trading, this is not a beginner's course. It's definitely a little bit more advanced, but I'll do my best to be able to make sure all the people that stay tuned over the course of the journey are going to be able to understand what happens, which is why I would hope that you guys consistently get on the calls. All these calls will obviously be uploaded directly to my YouTube channel, literally as soon as the stream ends. So if you get on late, you hop off early, you missed the day altogether, you will always be able to go back and rewatch, okay? Now, I did that whole spiel. I ain't going to do that every single day, but like I said, this is only my second time back in a few months, so I just want to make sure y'all know who I am. Y'all understand what we're going to be doing on these calls. Y'all know what day, what time to show up, and I hope you guys take advantage of all the information that I will be presenting y'all with, all right? So the first thing I actually want to talk about is what you guys actually see on the screen. So I actually do plan on calling out a trade setup tonight. And it should be on CAD CHF. I'm not going to call it out like right now. I want to wait for it to move a little bit more closer towards the entry, but it does look like we do have a potential setup tonight. But before we do that, I don't know if you guys know what you guys should be doing every single day before you actually go into the market. Make sure you look at Forex Factory. So for anybody that doesn't know what Forex Factory is going to be where you guys go to be able to check the news. So if you've ever seen a currency pair move really strongly in any given direction, you're like, what the hell? Why did it just, what the hell? It's probably because there was news, right? Now, it's your job to be up to date on when the news events are going to happen so that you know to either be cautious or maybe it'll be a better opportunity for your trade to move a little bit quicker in your direction, okay? So forexfactory.com, you want to make sure you go to where it says calendar, and then this will pop up. Now, the way that I do mine, right, I'll show you guys. If you guys click this little filter over here where it says up next, in my personal opinion, I would unselect the orange and yellow folder and just keep the gray and red, okay? Reason why is because orange and yellow is not really that big of a deal. Gray usually means it's a bank holiday. Reason why that's important is because if you're trading a specific pair when it's a bank holiday, the market is probably not going to be moving that much. It doesn't mean the market is not going to go in your favor. It doesn't mean don't take the trade. It just means be aware. The market is probably going to be a little slower on that specific day if there is a bank holiday. Okay, that's a gray folder. The red folder is what you really want to pay attention to. That's going to be high impact news. All right. So as you guys see, today is Wednesday. We have 3 currency pairs that we're going to be focusing on, right? We have GBP, we have CAD, we have USD. All right. So any of you guys on the call that are currently looking at any of the current currency pairs, just know I'm not saying be afraid. I'm not saying don't take the trade at all. Just be aware that there's a possibility the market could move in a strong direction. Let me show you an example. I'm Central Time. It's 1 a.m. GBP news came out. It is 1:16. So what I'm going to do is if we go back to the chart, I'm going to go to the GBP pairs. All right. And I'm going to click on each one of these GBP pairs and see if anything is actually happening. Okay. So the thing that I want to look for is, do we actually have any movement on any of these currency pairs? And if not, this is just one of those news events that isn't necessarily doing a whole lot. So as you guys see, even though it is supposed to be high impact news, none of these currencies are just like moving strongly in any given direction, right? So like I said, it doesn't mean that there's always going to be something to aware of so that you're not caught off guard, all right? So now that we got that out the way, we're going to go ahead and dive into the currency pair that, like I said, is going to be the interest of tonight, which is going to be CAD CHF. So with CAD CHF, what I usually like to do is I usually like to pull up a different data feed because as you guys see, I'm the kind of person, I mark up my charts ahead of time just because I never like to be caught off guard or see something too late. So I always want to make sure my chart is marked up before the market is anywhere close to where I'm trying to get in. So what I'm actually doing is I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to open up another data feed so that you guys can see the naked chart. And then you guys can see me break it all the way down so you understand why I came to, the analysis that I currently have. All right. So this is how we going to do this, right? What we're going to do is we're going to take it from top to bottom. So this is like what we like to refer as top-down analysis, I think is what they call it. And that's basically going to be whenever you're starting from the higher time frame and you're working your way down. So the time frames that I usually recommend that people use, which are going to be the most, what's the word I'm looking for? The time frames that are usually going to be the most utilized are going to be, wait. Is this tripping right now? I bet. So the time frames that I usually focus on is going to be the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. So y'all can write that down if y'all want to. Exactly. Fundamental analysis. Shout out to Lewis. The daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. Obviously, these are not the only time frames you're going to look at, but these are going to be the most important. Reason why I say is because higher time frame is going to overrule smaller time frame every single time. So one thing that I want to let you guys know that I used to struggle with, if you're not necessarily as consistent as you would like to be in trading, think about what time frame are you marking your chart on. Are you marking it up on lower time frame or higher time frame? It doesn't mean you have to execute it off the higher time frame, but as far as, you know, supply and demand zones, or aka support and resistance, usually you want to make sure you're marking those up on higher time frame. So if we actually look at the daily, one thing that I'm looking at is we actually have a supply zone right here. So if you guys notice, the supply zone, for people that aren't familiar with the terminology, is going to be the same thing as resistance. A demand zone is going to be the same thing as a support. Just so I don't throw you guys off, right? So as you guys can see on the daily time frame, we actually had a pretty significant supply zone to where you can see the market created a high. It ended up having a strong impulse move to the downside. It pulled back, reacted off of the previous supply, and then gave another impulse move. Now, the importance of this second impulse move is that we had a pretty strong break of structure, like how we call it a BOS, right? Now, this is an example of a good scenario that you might want to be looking for a selling opportunity, okay? Set up on a higher time frames or lower time frame. Exactly. Literally exactly what Lewis just said. That's pretty much what you want to do. You mark up on a higher time frame, you look to take the execution on a lower time frame. A lot of people like, 15 minute, 5 minute, 30 minute, those are like the sweet spots, right? You usually don't want to enter off like 1 hour, 4 hour, because your stop loss is probably going to be ridiculous. All right. So as we're looking from the daily, you guys should already be able to see, okay, this looks like a possible opportunity for a strong sell, right? Now, obviously, we're not going to sell right now because the market is all the way down here. The thing we're looking at is, if you guys actually notice, right? Once again, if you're not familiar with the terminology, these are different things I'm going to be uploading to my channel now that I'm back active. So anybody that's new on the call, I want everybody to be on the same speed. So I'm going to make a YouTube video for all the terminologies and things like that for people that are not privy to some of the terms I'm using. So if you're lost right now, don't worry about it. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, I will create a playlist so everybody has simple languages and you kind of understand what it is without being 100% lost. This is what we like to call an imbalance, okay? Imbalances honestly have like 3 different names. So I'm giving y'all some of the terminology now if y'all want to write this down or whatever. So usually 3 different terms that people refer to an imbalance is, and like I said, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but the majority of the explanation I'm doing is pretty much just going to be for today. Moving forward, I'm not going to be doing all this explanation and giving all these details. I'm going to kind of just get into it. But like I said, since I'm fairly new back on the call, I want to make sure anybody that's new kind of understands what's going on. You have imbalance, you have inefficiency, you have fair value gap. If you ever hear any of those 3 terms, imbalance, inefficiency, fair value gap, it literally means the exact same thing. It's all the same thing, okay? So an imbalance is going to be a situation where the market moves very fast in one given direction and it leaves what's called uneven pricing or inefficient pricing, okay? This gap that you guys see that I have with the rectangle tool, if I were to erase this, right, you might be asking yourself, how do you identify this? If you guys notice from this wick down to this wick, there's a lot of space up in here. Normally what you want the market to look like is what you see here, right? Notice how there's not really any gaps to where the wicks aren't touching. This gigantic gap is going to be the imbalance, aka the inefficiency. So a lot of times what the market is going to do is, if it leaves the imbalance, inefficiency, fair value gap, a lot of times the market usually is going to come back and do what's called fill that in. Now, the thing is, when will it fill it in is the actual question. You know it's going to get filled. When is it going to happen? That's a completely different story. So now we know the overall trend or bias of the market. Technically, it is an uptrend, but temporarily or in a short-term manner, we may be seeing some sell-offs just because of the break of structure based off of it reacting off of the supply zone on the daily, right? So now that we've seen what the daily is talking about, Let's go down to the 4 hour. Remember, it's a top down analysis starting from the high time frame, moving down to the lower. Okay. So now that we are on the lower time frame, which is going to be the 4 hour, things are kind of starting to pop out a little bit more. Okay. Now, the thing that I'm looking at on the 4 hour, I'm going to show you guys, right? So in instances that you have a market that leaves a really big imbalance, there's two different ways that you guys can play this. Okay. And I want y'all to listen close because you don't actually have to play both ways. You might just want to pick one or the other. You can do both. It might just be a little dangerous, which is why I usually tell people, decide what direction that you want to take in the market. Okay. If you want to take a buy, stick with the buy. If you want to take a sell, stick with the sell. There are a lot of people that like to do what's called buy to sell or sell to buy. What does that mean? You're going to buy the market short term to eventually sell it long term. You're going to sell it short term to eventually buy it long term. Now, this technically can be a very profitable way to trade. It can also be extremely dangerous. Why do I say that? If we're in a bearish market and we're trying to buy the market to then sell it, you could technically lose money attempting to buy a market in a bearish climate, which means you lose money whenever you could have just waited to take the sell and don't even worry about the buy. I'm saying all this to say because these are things that people go through. You might see a homeboy do certain things. It might not work for you. So one of the main things I like to push to people is stop looking to the left, stop looking to the right. Figure out what works specifically for you. The way that I trade may not 100% down to the Q work for you. You might take bits and pieces and add it to what it is that you got going on. But I don't ever want you guys to just 100% follow any one person. The way that I look at it is you want to be, I don't want to use the term jack of all trades, but that's kind of what you want to be. You want to take, little bits and pieces from different people. Maybe this person, marks up a chart a certain way. Maybe this person, that's kind of how you want to do it. So saying all that to say, I'm telling you guys right now, yes, it is a bearish market. Yes, it is. Yeah, turns into gambling, like how Lewis said. What I'm personally looking for is I'm looking for the buy. And I'm going to explain why, because you might be like, okay, Tyree, you just said all this stuff about, buy to sell, sell to buy. It's a bearish market. Why are you talking about buying a market whenever you literally just showed us it's bearish? I'm going to explain, okay? So from the 4 hour, we're now going to go to the 1 hour, right? Now, the 1 hour is whenever it starts getting interesting. And I'm going to tell you guys why, because if you guys notice, I'm going to show you guys how you start refining the chart and get a little bit easier visual. Now, if we take this initial imbalance off the daily, I'm going to show you guys how we're going to make this smaller to get like a more refined area, right? We don't need this entire zone, okay? It's a little too big, right? It's a little too, like whenever somebody says something and you're like, that's a really broad statement. This is kind of a broad climate, right? So now notice this yellow box. This is what the daily imbalance was. But if you're now looking at the 4 hour, I guarantee you guys can now see, look at the 4 hour imbalance and how much smaller it is than the daily. So now what we're doing is we're refining the chart. Okay. So we went from the daily imbalance to the 4 hour imbalance. Notice how big of a difference that is, but that is giving us a better window, a better graphic of what it is that we're going to be targeting. Because remember, I said I'm looking for a buy. What you guys might not realize is an imbalance acts as two different things, an entry and a target. I'm going to repeat that one more time. An imbalance acts as two different things, an entry and a target. An entry, obviously, because if you're looking for an area to get in the market, an imbalance is definitely one of those things that you can utilize as an entry area, an entry zone, whatever. But in this event to where I'm looking to take a buy, I can buy the market to the imbalance and use the imbalance as my target. Let me get you guys a drop of one in the chat if what I just said makes sense, right? You can use the imbalance as either a target or an entry, right? If you're looking for the sell, you can wait for it to get to the imbalance to then sell it. Or if you're looking for the buy scenario and you're like, okay, I don't really know when to get out the market, I don't really know when to take profit, You can also use the imbalance as an opportunity, as a take profit, take partials, get out the market altogether, cash out, go to sleep, wake up the next day, do the same thing again. So once again, if that made sense, let me get you guys a drop of 1 in the chat if that makes sense. All right, perfect. All right, perfect. So you got, all right, cool. That makes sense. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. I appreciate the participation. Like I said, I want you guys to keep your hands next to the type pad because I love the participation. Okay. Now, we went from the daily to the 4 hour. Now we're going to go to the 1 hour. We want to refine the imbalance as much as possible because we're looking at it as you don't want like a gigantic zone as a target because you want as small of a zone as possible. So let me go to the 1 hour. And another thing I'm getting used to, guys, if y'all hear me kind of repeating myself, I got to remember that there is like a 30-second delay. So if y'all hear me saying something twice, I'm still kind of getting used to it's instant more so. YouTube Live is like a 15-30-second delay. So I'm kind of repeating because I'm like, why didn't I drop it once? But it's like Tyree said 30-second delay. So forgive me for that, right? Now, once again, the 1 hour, remember, this is now the zone from the 4 hour. So we've now gone from daily to 4 hour, now the 1 hour. Let's see the zone shrink again, right? So this zone, let's see. All right, this zone right here. Now, this is going to be an even smaller zone. This is off the 1 hour, okay? Now, from the 1 hour, I'm now going to start going into why am I even looking to take a buy in the first place? Because some of y'all might still be confused. Y'all might not even see what I see. You might be like, bro, I don't see anything that would make me want to take a buy, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I got you. Okay? So this is the thing that I want you guys to be able to understand. What I'm looking at is going to be this area right here. Okay? And this is what we're really about to dive into, right? To be honest, this is really the only setup I'm like interested in that's actually looking like it might happen tonight. So we're probably just going to spend the entire call talking about this. We already been on here almost 40 minutes, so I'll be on here probably like another 20-30 minutes. But we're really just going to focus on this because I really don't want to talk about any other pairs because nothing else looks like it's going to happen tonight. So it would kind of be a waste of time even going over other setups. We're just going to focus on this and refine what we're doing, okay? Because I want to give you guys as much value as possible without being all over the place, talk about 1,000 different pairs if we're only looking at one to take tonight, okay? The thing that I want you guys to focus on is I'm going to pull something up. Let's see. Let me see if I have enough space to add this. I want to add the RSI on here. Is it going to work for me? All right, cool. Relative strength index, bet. They're going to let me add it. Cool, we in that thing. Customize this real quick. I didn't want to let me there we go. Take that crap off. All right, cool. Let me make this white. All right, bet. So anybody that's previously followed me, y'all might already know where I'm going with this, but for anybody new, what I'm about to show you is one of my favorite things to utilize in the market, and it's called divergence, okay? If you guys don't know what divergence is or you never heard about it, you are in for a treat, okay? If you ever, moving forward, have the, I don't even know what word I'm looking for, but if you ever have the thought, okay, even though I know this market is bearish, I like an opportunity to take a buy. If you have divergence, that's going to be something that you can use as a confirmation, okay? So what I like to use divergence is if I'm looking to take a reversal. This technically would be a reversal or what you would call a counter trend trade because as I said to start off the call, This is obviously a downtrend. This is obviously a bearish market, but I'm looking to take a buy. One of the reasons I'm looking to take the buy is because of what I'm about to show you guys, which is divergence, okay? What is divergence, you might ask, right? One thing you can do to be able to figure out what divergence is, okay? As I said, all these things I'm talking about I will eventually make YouTube videos for, so if you don't grasp everything on this one call, please don't worry about it, okay? Divergence is going to work like this. First thing you might want to think about is adding the RSI. So if you guys saw what I did, I went to TradingView. I went here. If you hover over it, it says indicators, metrics, and strategies. Y'all saw me type in literally RSI. I clicked it and I added it. I removed something in the settings. That's not really that big of a deal as of right now. The thing I want y'all to focus on next is if you see right here where the candles are, we can actually click on that and change that to the line chart. Now, the reason why I'm going to change that to the line chart is going to be simple. Notice when I have it on candles, it's similar, but it doesn't exactly look like this. But when I change it to the line chart, though, you can't really even tell the difference. Let me drop this down. I bet. When I change this to the line chart, you really can't even tell the difference. Like, these basically look like the exact same thing as far as it's simply, as far as it's simply being like a little squiggly line, right? Divergence is going to be like this, right? This is literally what divergence is. When the market is going in one direction and the RSI is going in the opposite direction. One more time. When the market is going in one direction and the RSI is going in the opposite direction. Now, obviously, the opposite of up is down. The opposite of down is up. So, peep this, right? Hold on. Let's see.